But I think some of our parents, black parents, tend to like put themselves on such a pedestal. Like when they say, don't do this, don't do this, don't do that, that. But they can't even really be exactly what they preach.
Look at African parents. Don't date, don't do this, don't do this. Oh, where's my grandchildren? Where's my grandchildren? The fuck is that? Like we need to split the bill within their religious concept 50-50 and shift a couple of that 50 towards the medical field rather than to being a big advocate for religious propaganda or something. Anything white people tell you, just know it's a lie.
I was bothered by the concept of Jesus being white because I knew that Jesus was not.
Money is supposed to give you freedom, liberty, and independence to be able to think. And these niggas can't figure it out.
Racism is taught. Like a child who's born into a privileged home is not automatically going to be racist towards people of color. Like that's taught by their parents.
Hey guys, this is the Lugards. You know what we're all about. Mine as usual. We are here to help decolonize the mind, but we have a pretty guest here today who is on a similar journey, I guess, but more of a decolonizing medicine, I guess.
Well, I guess what he's trying to say, she has more expertise in the field of getting certified or being able to expose yourself to all kind of knowledge in that background. She has more than we do. We come from a place of just dialoguing from the experience of things that we might have read, or how we understand things. So we're going to be taking some things from her, and it's not just going to be just in our field. We're going to talk about so many other things like your religion, your upbringing, how you look at being an African American, how you see certain things in the African perspective, and all of the beautiful things that we do within black spaces. So I guess Shirley already made introductions, and would you like to make an introduction so our people and your people can get to know you?
Sure, my name is Nika, and I'm a certified medical illustrator from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, sir. And then we have Josh in the back. If anybody looks not so good or anything, we're putting it on him. But for the most part, we always look good because it makes us look good. So yeah, let's get into it. I guess, there's already a topic that you guys are dialoguing about, so I'm just going to shut up and listen again to what you guys are doing about for a little while. So I might be like the devil's advocate in like a lot of things. I might try to bring out like triggering perspective just so we see how are we looking at just one perspective, or we try to look at everything on a very large lens of things, So okay, yeah, I'll shut up again.
Anyway, I guess what I was saying was that it's important that people tell their own stories, because if you leave it at the hands of others, they will tell whatever version they want to tell. So that's why I guess illustrating, like what you do, is very important. And regardless of whatever his roots might have been, as Chidebere, he did trigger an important conversation. But I guess he's not the hero we thought he was. Is that what you're implying?
I think that, so I think that the exposure of that was so important because it had a worldwide impact, and people were realizing, okay, like, this is really important, this is needed. But then at the same time, there is a conversation around like copyright and artist rights. And so both things, obviously, both really important. And so I think that it's important to have originality and authenticity with whatever you do. And so that's why it was sort of like a difficult conversation to have, because it's like, okay, this is very much needed, but then its inception was going from, the artist not realizing that, okay, I'm using someone else's work to create this piece. And so there was an educational piece that needed to happen. Like, this is how you create an original, authentic piece without using something already created to.
So are you saying for him before publishing whatever is published, which I guess is a book, right?
No,
so
illustration
already. Okay, writing an article. So are you saying there was no peer review done?
No, it just was like created.
So he did it off of his own.
I saw the Twitter.
Someone retweeted. That's how Twitter is.
So
Someone can just retweet your thing and it just take off.
It goes viral.
Yeah.
But he's not making anything off of it, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'm sure that
if you look up live,
I guess
if you look up medical illustration, his name pops up in bold, like he's like a down in biology now.
Yeah, like if it's like a godfather or something that they never give birth.
Literally, like
Charles
When
Darwin.
it comes to, you can now look up, Danji, I prove to you can now look up medical illustration and his name does not pop up. And he's like,
I see.
It's like a historical thing, that 2020 tweet.
So interestingly, right? You brought up a conversation about how you need more black representation for the actual illustration, right?
Yeah.
Did they bring up conversations about who also created the illustration? Are we talking about how a black person did it versus a white person doing it? Did that conversation even come up?
It did,
I think that's
it
the question I
did.
wanted to ask too.
It
but-
did
Okay.
actually, yeah. It was because it was coming from a black creator that also made it so like profound. That
So-
definitely was a part of the conversation.
So are you
They
saying?
teach Nigerian roots.
So is he bringing the medical awareness, or is he bringing the racial awareness? Which one is it? Because to me, I'm still kind of lost. Like, you know, I haven't read this article, which that's to my part, because I didn't know this was coming up. But what is his fight in this? Like,
Or
is
his
he saying?
perceived fight, you mean?
Yeah, like what is it? What is the awareness? What is
Right.
the awakening? Because for me, there's no awakening or awareness.
It ties into one question we have on here. I'll just add it
Yeah.
before you answer. It says, you know, do you find a balance? Like, what's the balance in the pressure to represent your race, right, with the desire to simply create freely? Do you ever filter in between the two?
I would say in this case it was mostly racial awareness. Like medical illustration in general is used to educate people about anatomy and science and like how human physiology works. But this piece specifically, because it was such a like dark skin, it was very profound in that way. Like people said, "Oh, I've never seen this before." So it was more on the like, okay, racial representation. But medical illustration in general is always created to educate. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out what is it that he really, because for me because I really understand there's a lot of misrepresentation of black people within the medical field. Like we had a whole online banter or debate about it about 2 weeks ago, and I understand, but for me at the same time, I'm on the edge of protecting those that are just trying to camouflage within the space and actually bring in nuances that don't really matter. Like this could be more, to me, is this more medical than racial, is what I'm saying. Like, is this more about people's basic understanding within the science field than whatever it could be about having a black baby or black fetus or anything like that. That's what I'm curious about.
I see those two things as linked. Like I don't think you can separate it. And the reason why is because like for me as like a medical illustrator, I'm always bringing representation, like, you know, drawing black and brown bodies in this work because I know that it's been so much lack of representation of us in these kinds of images. So I always just automatically do that. But the reason why it's linked is because like what we see, there's a direct correlation to like that information and how it's retained by the way it's presented to us. So like for me, right, if I'm in a doctor's office and I see a patient like hand out with some images of a disease, whatever, and the person is like of my skin tone, like seeing like, okay, how it looks on my skin or something, for example, I'm much more likely to be interested to read the content and also to retain the information because I can relate to it. So that's part of the reason why this lack of representation has been so problematic. We already have major health disparities in the black community here in the US and probably worldwide, but especially in the US, is a lot of health disparity. And part of that reason is like because of those issues, like people not understanding their health or maybe not having good relationship with their doctor or healthcare system. So I definitely think those two things are linked, can't be like separated.
Yeah.
Beautiful things you brought up, because for me, those things actually attach to, like, you know how you're saying certain things you feel more relatable to it. Now it makes me wonder, like, doesn't that speak to what we are as black people in general, actually living in this country, without understanding that that's actually a big infrastructure that your people have to invest in rather than the state. Like for me, your allegiance first as a person is to your identification. Then you build other concepts like patriotism and nationalism and all that kind of thing. So now, would you think like, what would you say black people are doing? Or what kind of admiration would you put for black people within the medical field to support this kind of things that actually is, you know, focused on us? Or there's none at all. It's just the governments that we depend on for all these things.
I definitely see like more awareness of how important it is, and I'm seeing like a lot of different organizations trying to like support and give resources and help people to kind of like enter the medical field and things like that. Like we have the National Medical Association, which is like the black version of the AMA, American Medical Association. Like, and that's a huge, like, nationwide organization. But there are a lot of other, even small grassroots organizations doing things to support black people in the sciences and in medicine. So it's something that I think we're leading ourselves, actually. Because there hasn't been, I haven't seen any major change on a systemic level, so we're kind of like creating that change within our communities from what I've seen.
I mean, you would definitely have more intel on, you know, people that are coming in within the field. So, but for me, like just looking as a mere citizen and as, you know, we just talk on the podcast, I don't think we're still far away from it. I would say black people need to split the bill within their religious concept 50-50 and shift a couple of that 50 towards the medical field rather than to being a big advocate for religious propaganda or those kind of things.
You mentioned something earlier about like you being in the hospital and seeing like more like white illustrations, you having like more trust if you're seeing more, I guess, people that look like you. Do you think that's because you're in a multiracial society? Because growing
That's
up,
a really good question.
When I was younger, I wouldn't say I ever thought about that. I actually had, back in Nigeria, we had like textbooks, biology textbooks. Were they mostly white or black? Because
I swear, I don't even know what
I
they
mean,
were.
of course, all our textbooks are white.
I did not even
No,
remember
You're
that.
probably right. You're probably right. But like, I don't ever remember.
We only have some few local textbooks that like, maybe
We have our
good for your
Ugos,
Yoruba
right?
language.
Chemistry.
I know we had like our social science textbooks were
Yes.
probably like black illustrations, like the Cindy goes to school.
Yes, I remember
So,
that.
like, social science, like English.
Mhm.
But our science textbooks were
Biology.
white. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that I can remember.
Right.
I mean, but okay, that depends on the level of education you're speaking to because you still learn Shakespeare in Africa, don't you?
I did.
All right.
Well, I'm just saying,
You
like,
guys did? Wow, nice.
I don't
schools.
think that ever like factored into my thinking at all. Yeah, like, so do you think you guys have this like thoughts or these feelings probably because of being in a multiracial society, so you can clearly see like I guess the racial biases and whatnot play out right in front of you.
So wait, so you mean like even growing up, like it didn't bother you that you was like you never had the thought like?
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw like a biology textbook. Like, oh my gosh, where are they no black people this textbook?
Yeah, I honestly
Didn't even
didn't.
come-
There's
Wow.
no reason why it would bother us.
Wait, why not?
We don't have a parent's background that's telling us like, what the hell is this? Like for example, how you have
Yeah.
kids that are like in this time and era that we are in, or maybe like we just left 2024, where a lot of parents are looking at the LGBT
Yeah.
classified textbooks that are being put for the kids,
Mhm.
and they're going crazy for it. Even like just imagine how many black people are going crazy for that kind of issue that was happening. Very, very few, in my own opinion, in comparison to Hispanic and white people that were actually losing their mind, or Arab family that were losing their mind. So now look at a space like Africa. I don't know no educational industry that produces textbook.
There was one thing that bothered me though, but it wasn't in terms of like actual like formal education, more like religion. I think I was bothered by the fact that like the Bible, I never saw like Nigeria preach the Bible. So that I thought about like
Interesting.
why are we so bothered about what the Jews are practicing? Why not?
Well, I think it's vice versa for me.
You guys are enlightened
what
kids.
about us? Yeah,
I think it's vice versa for me because
Oh, yeah.
to the point of what he said, I'll let you go back.
Yeah. almost finished.
My mom was more like, cause I asked her like, why? I mean, there's no Nigeria here, though. So why do we have to worry about worshiping God of Israel? What about Nigeria? She was like, no, it's for everybody. She kind of like, I feel like at the time I felt like she downplayed my feelings, but I didn't feel like comfortable with the answer completely to an extent. Well, as I made my peace with it eventually, because when you get to the New Testament, you start to see a God who's more like for everybody.
I feel like maybe you had a grand awakening than most of us. That's beautiful.
Initially, that did because I could see them conquering different tribes and everything, and I was praying that they wouldn't get Nigeria, but they only got to Egypt. I saw Egypt, but I didn't see anything in West Africa or whatnot. But that bothered me. But in terms of textbooks, formal education, biology, nah, I never thought about that. I never thought about race as a concept till I came here, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought Chris Brown was white first of all.
So you thought Chris
Honestly,
Brown
I
was
thought
white?
like everybody in America was like, I saw them as Americans. I didn't think it was like white or black.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
the concept, I guess, to what he's saying,
Wow.
like for you, let's say maybe there's a difference. For you, were you ever bothered by the concept of white Jesus that was painted by Leonardo da Vinci.
Yes.
You've always been?
I was bothered by the concept of Jesus being white because I knew that Jesus was not, and I was like, well, why is
When did this revelation come to you?
my parents told me. So
Okay,
maybe
so
it is,
see what I'm saying?
It's
So
like what you said.
thank you. So
Yeah.
for me, because even for
Yeah.
me, I've never been bothered by white Jesus.
Okay. See, if my parents hadn't told me, I just would have assumed, oh, that's what
Because-
he was, and that's what.
Because then, if you, to me again, a lot of things I came to find for my own self, like, because I was seeking. Why it could not bother me and why it makes sense is I'm at a very young age I was vast about the English Empire. You know, at least my awareness came from like Henry VIII. You know, so he's white.
Yeah.
People came and spread the religion. So I mean, who else would white Jesus? You'd be white Jesus. So for now that I'm hearing this, it's fascinating. It seemed like you guys are the grand. You guys should be like writing books about.
That is like the narrative
She
that they
is
created
going,
that
so
they
she's
would
doing
want you to
something.
believe. So it would make sense if if no one ever told you otherwise. It would make sense based off of everything that's out there. So yeah, I probably wouldn't have.
I mean, I know more about
questioned
Jesus than
unless-
anybody right now, but
Yeah.
oh, facts.
Yeah,
Like-
but when
like-
we're younger, right? Like we don't, when we're kids, like we don't know.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, so I wouldn't have known unless my parents told me. Like I would have just thought, like, okay, this is what it is. Because this is what I see when I go to church or what I see in the images online or whatever.
So to you then, I guess like with everything that you've been going, your childhood growing up and all of that going into your profession, you've been cautious about the demographic of the country you are in.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and that didn't come until I got more knowledge about issues that need to be addressed, like for example, systemic racism in healthcare, or things that aligned with the kind of work I was doing, or just my life experience in general. But I feel like when I was younger, I was much less aware. Like these things, when we're kids too, like we're just thinking about playing with our friends, and you know what I mean, like whatever. And so it's like we might not even really realize, even when we encounter something that may be racist or whatever, it might not even be cognizant to us.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So did medical illustration become politically charged early for you? Or
Yeah, because actually I would say it did when I first started to pursue it, and that was when I was like 21. So it wasn't until I didn't know about it prior to that, and it's always been political for me since then.
Did you always draw when you started drawing as a kid? You started by drawing like medical stuff? Or
No, I just would draw like I was like any other kid, drawing flowers or like myself, my family. Like it was no correlation to medicine.
I draw as well. I'm trying to remember whether the figures and humans I was drawing were black.
yeah, I have because we have a question here, right? And the question ties back into, so it says, do we think as adults sometimes we project our knowledge of bias onto children who may not yet be looking for themselves in what they see around them, right? But there is a correlation to you soaking in things subconsciously that end up impacting how you see the world, right? But do we feel like we somehow overly judge that bias and go, I'm giving my kid all black based books because I know this will imprint their mind and help them see themselves in these things? Or maybe honestly just watching a TV show. What are your guys' thoughts there?
I think it's part and part. I think in some ways, if you start to project your own, implicit biases or your feelings of maybe marginalization or whatnot, I think you can definitely impact that on your kids, because they might not have the same experience you had, but I think there's a risk of them seeing the world through those same lenses that you saw it. The world might change around them, but they might not notice it because they are still those maybe 4K glasses that you wore. So there's a balance, because it's also good to make sure your child is aware of what's going around them, but you should also do the work within yourself to see how much has changed from when you were younger to what's currently happening in reality right now. Because there's nothing worse than raising a victim. You might have been a victim, but raising someone with a victim mindset could also be dangerous. But there's a way to make sure that they are aware, but not, I don't know that balance, but there's definitely a balance somewhere.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think it kind of depends on like what it is. Like, it's hard for me, at least. It's hard for me to answer the question without talking about morality, because when we say like bias, let's say I'm a parent and I want to expose my child to like more Black literature or images of Black people in medicine or whatever, because I want her to know she could be a doctor. That's more like, I would say that's a good thing, right? Like, that's not bad. Like, that might be biased as me as the parent, but I know that like it's gonna benefit my child. And also I know that we're in a world where like systemic racism does exist, and there's like less than 10% of doctors are Black. I think it's like it might be less than 5 are right now, and then that's probably not going to change to being on a balanced scale within their lifetime. So I know that like, okay, this might be bad, but they need this information to like influence them in a positive way. And then you have a parent who is maybe like Trump supporter, conservative, Confederate, like whatever on that side of things, and they have their biased opinion, and they dislike Black people, and then they're feeding their children this information that's harmful. So like, how do you, like, there's a morality issue there, because we're already dealing with these systemic issues that we're trying to solve, but you have parents that are raising children on the other side of this. Those children, like, racism is taught, like a child who's born into a privileged home is not automatically going to be racist towards people of color. Like, that's taught by their parents. So that parent has a biased attitude towards Black people, to people of color. If they're teaching their child that, that's how racism gets perpetuated. So I think it depends on like what side of the coin you're on, and like what you're talking about, like what kind of bias.
Yeah, because for me, I think what I'm going to address there is the parenting. You should be equipped with several levels of consciousness before you become a parent. I mean, even though we are taught this time around that finance is the thing you need to become a parent, but really, consciousness is what you need to become a parent. Because then, navigating, if I want to use that term, navigating is navigation. You cannot, you can only do so much, and you hope within the growth of your child, they start using the things that you've implemented in them to navigate themselves around all these obstacles. Because, what is it really to teach a child about Black philosophy in a world where Black philosophy is at last place? But at the same time, you said something that's very important, morality. You gotta have some type of principle, which is the first kind of consciousness, which is your spiritual and your religious kind of doctrine that you enforce in your household. So you have to ask yourself, what is it that you want your child to implement? Why I identify under the emblem of Christ, because this philosophy is genius. You can take it to almost any platform and it works. So now, if you implement that in that child, they'll be able to, maneuver themselves around all kind of situation. But like staying on one philosophy or trying to think your philosophy is the right philosophy for your child, I think it's a detriment to that child, because you're already teaching that child to be strong on one level of consciousness, which is the philosophy that I embark in. That's what I will always go by, which I think, So, but yeah.
So you're saying provide some guidance, but sort of teach them more being open-minded?
No, I'm saying be the best parent that you can be, and that would only come from every kind of consciousness that you've attained. Like some look at African parents. Don't date, don't do this. Oh, where's my grandchildren? The fuck is that? Or let me see where I could come up with a joke from the African Americans, but anyways, I can't find one right now. I can only focus on, what's strong to me. But yeah.
I mean, I can relate to the one you just said, to be honest.
Exactly. Exactly. So
like, go focus on school.
Yeah,
where are my grandkids?
Like, why you capping to me? Like,
Yeah.
My boss, like, tell me about what your dating life is. Don't tell me about what your dating life is like.
Yeah.
Give me a beautiful illustration that you're trying to navigate me on a journey.
The dangerous thing they do is that, like, they put themselves on such a pedestal, such a moral pedestal, that they themselves can't really attain. And when the child grows up, they start to see, oh my God, this man and this woman have been fooling ever since. So all these things they claim to be, that's not what they actually are. Because that child will eventually grow up and see you for what you really are. But I think some of our parents, black parents, tend to like put themselves on such a pedestal. Like when they say don't do this, don't do this, don't do that, that, this and that, this and that. But they can't even really be exactly what they preach. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you say, kids watch you. They learn more from how you actually behave and how you actually live than anything else.
Right.
Not by what you say.
So are we saying that a parent who's pushing, let's say for them they want their kid to be in the medical field, right? They're only gonna buy books of black illustrators. Like they can afford books only. Those are the books in the house, right? So do you feel like if I'm gonna provide just those kinds of textbooks to my kid, this is not me limiting their mindset to just thinking that black medical illustration should be black, right? This is me just telling them, okay, it's a good thing that you see more people that look like you, right? Or is it also saying, well, it's a bad thing if you see people that don't look like you?
No.
Because there's two different things that are being discussed here.
I think what you said is right in terms of like you're empowering them, showing them that you can do this too. You're not preaching hate.
Right.
You're saying you
Preaching inclusion.
yeah, you can do. You're empowering them. I don't see it like what I was referring to earlier about like teaching prejudice and whatnot. That's not the same as you teaching your child a way to showing them that they can achieve something similar. Like you might see the world around you all white doctors and everything, but here look at pictures of black doctors, black successful people. Like you can do this too.
Yeah.
So that's different from like telling them are black, good, white, black.
Yeah. And because it's also within the context of our society, because like when a child goes out, they're going to see the opposite of that. So they do need that. Like they need that. Speaking within this context. Yeah.
Because I know we were saying earlier about. So do you think like the way we all grew up, we saw mostly. Honestly, I didn't really see race, but do you think that like a subconscious?
O.J. Simpson. I didn't see color.
I really didn't.
Yeah, you were predominantly in the hood.
It was in my hood, literally.
Yeah.
So reading all those books, seeing white pictures in all our textbooks, in all our, I guess personally, in some movies and whatnot, seeing a lot of white stuff, the Bible being mostly white. Do you think that might have subconsciously done things to the mind of like Africans generally, or black people too?
Subconsciously, yeah. But I think it's one of those things, like you were saying, you don't recognize that you need something until you see it. Like black people didn't recognize that they needed to see black medical illustration until they saw it, and it was like, oh wow, like I need this. This is filling a void that I didn't know was there. That was there. So it's definitely affecting on a subconscious level, but I don't think on a conscious level. Like so my family moved to Europe in 1994. I was like 4 years old. So I went to all of elementary school in England. I was the only black kid in my entire school for like several years. And being that age, I didn't like, it was just like, I was like, oh, whatever. Like, it didn't really register to me that when I did experience being treated a certain way by certain kids, to me, it wasn't like, oh, because I'm black and they're like, he's just bullying me, And I didn't realize that because I was too young to understand racism. So I'm sure it affected me, but not in a way that I was conscious of. Looking back on it, certain experiences now I know like, okay, that's actually what that was. So yeah, I think on a subconscious level, it can definitely affect us.
For me, I would say like, for me, it didn't make me worry about race or anything like that. One thing it made me understand it was, because I've always had a niche to understand like, why is that from this place? It just gave me a projection of like, or even like knowing like, if I ever went to America, I never necessarily wanted to live in this country, but I understood if I ever lived in this country, I would have access to all of these things because I'm seeing it, like they're showing me, like that's the only thing it made aware to me that like, oh, this thing is not from us, this thing is from a bigger entity, like they care about these things, this is what they worry about, so they do it, and now they're just sharing their knowledge to the world. So for me, if it's not for globalization, I would say like, still the same fundamental, train up a child in the way that you want it to grow, and when it grows, it will not depart from it. Like, if a child truly has a niche for healthcare, or let's say education, then guide them in the right path to get to it. Show them the best people that are doing it as of the time. But at the same time, the principle that you've indoctrinated into your kids growing up, it will not leave them. Like if you, like like, I could never understand why people would say something like, it makes me understand that, like, and you hear that a lot within black community, like saying like maybe like a kid was embodying to be something, okay? Like, I would think like that kid would be thinking to embody something that they've seen, but they want to do an add-on. Like, it means when you hear a lot of black parents say, so I gave my kids the access to be able to see it even though it was white or black, it makes me understand that you might not be the best parents that you think you were. Because if you really were, and you've had 1 to 0 to, let's say 15 years old, let's say 14 years old, let me be reasonable. And at that time, the kid is not looking at you like, yo, that is the dopest nigga I've ever seen in my life. Like, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Like, in the sense that even if the kid decided to want to go into a medical field, they were like, you know what, that's something I would love to add on to that nigga that I've seen before. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the way I look at my dad. You understand? Like, so even if I go into anything, I don't know, people will be like, oh, my child created a mentor. No, my dad is my fucking mentor. Like, what are you talking about? Like, but I see what other people are doing. Like, I have other people that I care about. Like, you know, like I'll say I care about, let me see, black people, Marcus Garvey. I care about Malcolm X. I care about Dr. Umar. Kwame Nkrumah, Patrick Lumumba, all these people. I care about ancient Pharaoh dynasty that was black. I care about all these things, but you know, but nothing takes away from the embodiment of what has made this physical who I am. Like, you understand, maybe the way I sound and all of these kind of things. So I don't look at anything. I look at what my dad has done, and I feel like I want to build upon it. So I feel like it's what you really, it's how you really. The kid is yours. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, if the kid is truly yours, it should be hard for a book or any other things to take that away from you. So it's more about the parenting, which I feel like is so lackluster within African community. And I'm not saying it's lackluster. I mean, let's give praises to our OGs. You understand what I'm saying? Because they were fighting the battle that they were fighting at that time. But I'm still mad at you for not winning some aspect of this battle. You cannot give up economic, you cannot give up spirituality, you cannot give up military complex, you cannot give up education, you cannot give up all of these things. You're a scavenger. So yeah, that's just the only thing that, you know.
Is there anything you could share about how your relationship with your parents impacted your career in black medical nutrition?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely resonate a lot with that because the parenting is what makes a child who they are. And I think because my parents were so against the grain, just in the way that they live their lives, helped me, enable me to like feel confident in what I'm doing. Cause like my field is so small, it's like around 3,000 professional medical illustrators in the world at one time practicing. So like that's how small it is, and like less than like 2% of us are black. So like because I grew up in an environment where I was used to seeing people like, you know, kind of just like my parents doing their own thing, you know, creating their own path and stuff. I do feel like that instilled a level of confidence in me and has made me who I am for sure. Yeah, like, you know, I was homeschooled. I grew up in very like different kind of environment, you know, learning outside, like different things like that.
Yeah, quite contrarian. His sister actually is homeschooling her kids.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I think we have an episode on that soon.
Could be dropping.
Well, that's really cool. I think it was one of them was speaking actually. Not everybody hates Chris. I remember like watching that as a young person, like watching it now as an adult, like I kind of see the obvious like, you know, racial connotations.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Yeah, in the show. But when I was younger, when I was watching it, what I mostly saw was classism. I didn't really take in the racism that he was pointing out. Yeah, I saw it more like
you could see they're related.
Yeah, they are very related. But I think I kind of focused more on the fact like it was the poor neighborhood and what went on in the neighborhood, and mostly the classist part of it, in a way. And like I guess I kind of compared that to like what we saw in Nigeria as well. So it was interesting. Which is mostly classism.
Oh shit, I thought about a joke for the African American now.
Okay.
Hey, he just bad, man. Leave him alone. He just bad. Yeah, trap nigga now. So what the fuck?
Jesus. So did
Okay, bro.
Chris, it's like Eureka.
Eureka! I found it. But yeah.
Everybody hates Chris. How did that impact you as a kid when you watched that? Do you remember anything about the show?
No, I remember the show quite well. I mean, the girl I had a crush on looked like the girl he had a crush on. So.
That was the last skin one?
No. The one who I think she ended up liking his brother or something like that.
Yeah, she ended up liking the brother.
Keisha, I think it's Keisha.
And he was light skinned
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Keisha. Yeah. So the girl I liked in school then looked like Keisha, so I was like, I could kind of relate at the point.
I don't know. I was part of the people that hated Chris, so.
The reason I hated
That was good.
No, the reason I hated him, I actually hated him too, because like, I just felt like he never had, like, he would give you so much hope towards like the middle of the show, but towards the end of the show, it would just end in disappointment.
Man, you know, something about his dad just pissed me the fuck off.
What? His dad.
His dad just always pissed me off.
Every penny, bro. You gonna count that shit.
His dad just always pissed me off, and I could never ever. I couldn't listen to anything they were saying because looking at his dad like, you just buff and weird for no fucking reason.
So
That's Cherry Crew, innit?
See,
The channel is a fun question. So it's like one of the last ones here. What is one moment in media that you think got it right in terms of black representation? And what's one that you can redesign and make it better? So you don't have to answer them in one go, you can do one half, someone else can do theirs, and then.
When you feel
What was
like
the
can
one?
be done better.
So the first one is what's a moment in media that you think got it right? So this is one that you liked, how they represented. It could have been even maybe a scathing review, but it still represented it accurately, right?
Mhm.
And one that you feel like they didn't do so well for some obvious reasons, and how you could redesign it. Could be in a book, could be in a show.
Mhm.
It's media.
I like Boondocks.
Okay, so yeah, Huey.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like Boondocks for me. I think they got it right. I can't.
Yeah. So, but what about it? What did they get?
I like how he didn't point out the racism, but also showed parts where black people can do better as a whole. Yeah, I like that. I like the fact that he kept showing us that, hey, yes, I know there is racism, but like you can still stand up and you can still be successful. You can still do what you want to do. Like you don't always have to always play the victim card all the time.
You could be on Rockers.
Yeah, no, that's too far. I like how there's. I like they have all sides. They have
That's my favorite character. in the
They
show.
have the far right, they have the far left, they have the extreme.
So it's a realistic representation,
Kind
but
of.
shows you how you can be positive.
Yeah.
I feel like for me it was Black Panther because I feel like Black Panther showed what our future could be like realistically.
Wakanda?
So Wakanda if Black and African people unified, and also if there was no neo-colonialism. Like in Black Panther, like they were not under neo-colonial rule, like completely sovereign, and the way that they were able to use technology and advance further than anyone else because of the resources there. Like I feel like it was accurate depiction of how rich and the richness and the resources available in Africa, and if we were in control of all of that and could use that to advance society, like that's what it looked like, in a
In the perfect world.
positive way. Huh?
In the perfect world.
In a perfect way, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
I hope that would never be my perfect world. I saw white Jesus again in there, but.
Yeah.
I forgot about him actually.
Okay. Oh, I never forget.
It literally ended
Mine
with
is that
CIA
part.
white Jesus. Literally.
Wait.
No, I mean,
But no, but I hear you.
Before-
Right? A very
Yeah.
advanced society.
before
Yeah,
they
yeah,
came in.
Yeah.
Before they
Yeah,
came
yeah,
in.
no.
Yeah,
But there was
the way
was
they showed it
colonialism. The
before
white
they
Jesus
came
was the
in.
colonialism. He showed them how to use vibranium.
Yeah, no, but they were.
No, before they came in, before
The white guy was always there.
Was he?
That's the CIA guy?
In the beginning, always there. From the beginning.
No.
Man, I missed that one.
Alright, y'all go watch it from the beginning.
No, on the
I'm glad you guys gave me.
I think. Oh no, go ahead.
I'm glad you guys gave me because I was thinking I was gonna go with the rap industry for my worst, but I'm glad you guys gave me the two best things I could go with.
No, then do both. Then
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm just gonna go for both right
Do
now.
both. Do
It's
both.
just so beautiful.
Do both.
Boondocks, best for sure. Why?
Mm.
Because that man is someone that will vote for a black president.
Mm.
Because
Imam
he
Barack.
mastered what we black people are. The one consciousness that we've given everything for. And that they always lied to us that we're spiritual. Anything white people tell you, just know it's a lie. We are a vibe. That's the only consciousness that we have. So he took something that is plagiarizing us and made it a vibe. And we still could not figure it out. So he's genius. Like he's everything. It's like, oh, you have the coons, you have the black bourgeoisie, you have the black philosophers in Huey, Riley. You have Robert Freeman that's been through it, has the history, and chooses not to guide his kids. Beautiful. Beautiful. What else to show a black household and a black community than that? Now, Black Panther, by far the worst. Jesus Christ. Like, if they're telling us that you would never be anything to do anything for yourself, that is Black Panther. Like, you would never figure anything out for yourself. And let me tell you, you see your bros over there, when they come there, they still ain't gonna be your bro. like y'all will always fight for some dumb shit that you should figure out. That's the little way. And guess what? The worst one really was a major box office. Anything white people are telling you or projecting you to go for, you should learn something from it. So that's a very great question.
Okay, and what about the rap?
Well, I was gonna say rap in a sense, because Boondocks took that away, because rap would have been one concentration. Rap culture is pretty much saying this is your best chance for economic freedom, and this is what you do with it. Like, all of y'all could make all this money. The world could know y'all for this thing. Everybody, go to China, go to anywhere, they're fucking with hip hop, rap, blues, you name it. You name, we're doing it all. And you let a Jewish entity capitalize and be a monetary, like, yeah, come here. Yeah, we would do it for y'all. Yeah, you rap like this, hit that nigga, shoot that nigga, bitch, please. Yeah, what you want? 200 mil? Yeah, nigga, we got you. And all of them cooning, just selling to any party. Where we have the biggest money, let's put rap and sports together, entertainment. Oh God, yeah, let's put it that way. Entertainment. Where we have the biggest money is where we have the largest coons in the world. I've never seen so much coons with money in my life. No, it's crazy. That gotta be the worst. That gotta be the worst. Money is supposed to give you freedom, liberty, and independence to be able to think. And these niggas can't figure it out. It almost is like, to the point of what you're saying, we are missing a lot of representation in our field. This is a whole case to be diagnosed. Like, these niggas are sick. Yeah. Literally. We should literally be in a community where we're like, these guys are sick. And then wherever we see them like saying vote for this, we're like, shut the fuck up. What do you know?
Even where we have representation, we have the white people orchestrating representation. Basically, yeah. So
Okay.
unfortunate.
So how would everyone redesign what they criticize?
I think I did mine in one go.
Actually, you did this in one go already. Vote for that man. Alright, next.
I didn't criticize anything.
Oh, you hadn't yet? Okay.
I like them.
Yeah, they haven't given criticism.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So we are old.
I feel like I'm in no need.
We are old too negative.
So I would say, like, I definitely have a lot of criticism for Black Panther. I was talking about it in a general concept. I didn't mean like all the nuanced relationships. I meant just the idea that Africa was benefiting off of its own resources instead of, the Europeans coming in and taking in control. That's more of like in the general grand scheme of concept what I was talking about. But the Killmonger, character and all of the other stuff that they added in, like, no, I wouldn't count any of that as far as like what I was,
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your, criticism then? Is it also Black Panther?
Well,
I could
definitely
That would be a banger right
I can
there.
criticize.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the elements of the movie for sure. I could definitely criticize. I agree with the point you made about Boondocks. I agree with that. I feel like that's more of like a realistic current representation. Whereas I feel like, other movies like Black Panther is like, obviously this is fantasy or like, projected into the possible future or something like that. So I feel like Boondocks is more grounded, down to earth representation. So yeah, I don't have a lot of criticism for Boondocks.
So the question wasn't necessarily if you had criticism on anyone else's choices, but just of something that came to
any
for
kind of
you
industry or anything like
Yeah.
In medical illustration, is there something you see that you
was
feel like
entertainment.
could be better?
No, you didn't
actually,
say that.
medical illustration. No, I said media.
Oh, you did say media?
Yes,
okay.
but medical illustration is very media.
Yeah,
It's very media. It's books.
Well, it should be media.
Yeah.
Because it's a very important part of our life.
Right.
Yeah. So curious about that space.
I would say like my criticism kind of goes back to like what we were talking about before, like the lack of representation. And I would say like not even just the images, but even with just the training to become like we need more leaders and people in academic positions that reflect the kind of students that are coming into the programs or not wanting to learn. You know, like I didn't have any teachers in medical illustration that were black that looked like me, you know, whether that was in school or I did end up getting like a mentor eventually, but like I think that more on the back end of things, like we also need representation, not just like what you see, but like what's behind the scenes. I think that is important too.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that one's quite dear to me because as a set designer, I think a lot about the set crew and how they're unseen, but they really help because people really work those jobs too, and when they can see that someone else can look like them and do that, then they can believe that it can still play a role. So I think it's very easy to see the bigger group with the light shining on and see, oh, they're all white. Oh, I can't do anything in that space. But if you see that there's so many people that come together to make one thing happen, you can still find a way to get a piece of pie.
Well, my criticism would probably be
Want to say something in tennis?
tennis. It's interesting. Yeah.
Tennis is interesting
Yeah,
too.
because
There's a lot of disrespect for our
very
black
few
sisters that are
successful-
actually balling out there.
Very few successful black men, except Tiafo and Philip. You can count them by your hand actually. Very few black. There's very few black representation for males in tennis. There's definitely a lot more in the women because of progress.
I actually don't know any names of male
Black
tennis
tennis
players.
players.
Is there any real black
No, they're there.
They're just not as successful as their
Yeah.
female
Tiafo
counterparts.
is probably the biggest.
Yeah. And
Bonfils.
he's good, but he's not even.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was actually gonna go for religion. To be honest. I think our the way we practice religion, especially in Africa, to me is entertainment. It's part of the religion. I don't think it's genuine. I don't think it's real. I think it's more of exploitation going on there, in my opinion. So that would be my criticism. I don't really like how it's being practiced. I think it can be better. I'm not really the most religious, but I still understand how it can impact value to society and bring about order. But for the most part, is what goes on in it is mostly exploitative. Yeah.
This man talking about this agnostic man talking about our faith like that.
Yeah, that's part of the-
I'm kidding.
That's part of the reason why.
You're very right. You're very right. But the reason why I didn't want to go that route.
Yeah.
Now, if we truly are like reasonable people and we try to see what is sensitive to us rather than what white people tell us or what.
Let me say something. I was gonna add something. So, because I know, like, when it comes to like medical illustration, for example, back in the days, you had the like Egyptian scrolls, the Ifa, for example.
Yeah,
we had our ways of illustrating, maybe not quite anatomy, but in more like visual presentation. You get, and that was completely destroyed and wiped away and replaced by European illustration.
See, I'm with you, but I don't accept why. See, let's give credit where credit is due. It's a game, right? And that's maybe even to all of us here, like maybe because we need to do the same way we were brought up to read the Bible, the same way we should chase. Maybe our true spirituality is learning our history now. Like that's where our true spirituality will be. Like in the sense that like it's our own, and the reason why I don't want to say religion is because it shows a lot of negligence of our ancestors and our folks. So for me, it's a very, very sensitive topic. Like, you know, you meet some idiotic black people now and they're like, oh, politics is so sensitive for me, I don't like talking about it. Shut the fuck up. How, nigga? How, nigga? Like, are you security for the Democrat? Are you, what? Like, you know, but they say that. But I'm saying, like, in the sense that religion, it shows how, like, some people just let go. Like, you know, like, you just really, all these people have bad things going on. So I don't subscribe to how someone just wipe away something. No. The Vikings came and almost killed the fucking Saxons and all of this, and the Ottoman Empire almost wiped out the Persian Empire, and all of this happened back and forth. India knows what happened to them during the Afghan war, when Afghanistan and, you know, the whole interaction with Persia and all of these kind of things. All these people have their history. Genghis Khan took China away from China completely. Literally, his capital was in China. Like, so
Yes,
what nonsense?
let's bring it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
So I'm trying to say why I don't condemn religion. I don't usually. Why is it a sensitive topic for me? Because there's no way we're not going to insult people that are very dear to us for taking us to churches all this while, for you not asking all the right questions, for this man putting all these things in the scripture, saying seek and you shall find, train up your child the way you want it, all these things, and you take your children every Sunday only to go and satisfy your own selfish interest but claiming you are church. It's ridiculous. So that's why.
So you don't like to subscribe that he feels like
No,
that's
I'm
a
not
black
even
representation
condemning
issue.
the practicing.
I'm with him. I agree with him.
Okay,
but I'm
you're
saying
agreeing.
it's sensitive in the sense that
Okay.
you would insult a lot of people to find how we got there. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. No,
Gotcha.
true. It almost feels like beating up like you guys dead because how do you really fix such a problem? Because it's in deep. It's deep
It's
into
really
our
heritage.
psyche. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy because it's still even hard for some people to have this conversation with their parents. Like you can say this pastor is clearly assaulting women, but you still go to his church.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what
Like
I'm saying?
a son or a daughter cannot sit down with their mother and their father and spread the truth that they know without with the pastor being your first. It don't make no sense.
So
but
maybe from what I'm hearing here, maybe sometimes right, it's that condemning what you've gotten accustomed to for your own media representation sometimes is hard. Right? When it might look like when the BET brings out some certain artists to perform and some people might be like, maybe that's not the most tasteful performance you could have that would exhibit black culture in its beauty. Some people might find that that's hard to condemn. So, maybe when media representation becomes so tied to your identity,
that's a hoochie man. I find that hard not to condemn. I'm saying, you gotta be crazy.
It's interesting. But anyway, let's give everyone just quick tidbits for what was an interesting thing you learned from, or like you sit back with after the combo, and we'll call it.
Interesting thing I learned for sure is just how we live in bubbles. Here I am. My hero is basically someone's what's
it?
Villain in a sense, because it's interesting. You might be here praising Malcolm X one day. You might meet someone who was his worked closely with him in politics. Like that guy's a cool or something like that. You might not even know because you just saw him as an idol. Yeah, you saw him as an idol, because you don't really know him in person. So it's interesting.
Bubbles.
Yeah.
Bubbles. Good one.
Definitely learned that I could talk about that topic without, it being too sensitive for me, because it's always been a sensitive thing. So it was nice to actually have a meaningful conversation that we started by discussing that specifically. But also I felt like it was really interesting to talk about parenting, which I didn't expect for us to even discuss, but really when we're talking about the human experience, you can't really, remove parenting from that. So it was very interesting that we talked about parenting so much throughout all these topics that we covered.
What was most interesting to me? I got to know everybody on this table. That's what's interesting to me. I got to see all kind of perspective, different kind of ideas, and it was definitely nice to have a woman's intuition in this kind of conversation, to see that we're not fucking what are we? What are misogynistic sons of bitches? So yeah, I feel back now. I feel like I'm normal. Yeah, so thank you for that.
Said I feel like I love my mom. That's what you always say.
Yes, I do. Yeah. Shout out to that OG.
He's like, yay, moms. That's pretty much.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah.
All right.